Today is aquarium maintenance day, and this is how I do mine. So I start by removing all, or majority, of my floating plants. Being aware that there could be snails in there could be fry in here. Just be careful, give them a bit of a knockabout first. I do this, it shows more light into the tank, gives you a bit more available light so you can see what you're doing for when it comes around to trimming. Plus, once all your plants have been trimmed, because they float up to the top, just makes life easier getting rid of all your trimmings. Once I've removed all my floating plants, I then scrape the glass with my razor blade aquarium glass scraper. These are a great tool. They make the little spot algae so easy to remove. It just removes it so quick. I do this once a week, so you kind of don't have to be making sure you get every piece of the glass, because if you do it regular, then you don't get a build up anyway. So once the glass has been scraped, you now have a better view of what's going on in the tank, and you can start working away on some of the overgrown plants. To start off with, I'll trim my lotus tiger lily. There is a video of me showing these and how to keep these maintained so they stay beautiful and don't take over your tank. I have just trimmed the wrong piece there. These grow ferociously, so if you're not careful, you can take over. Like I say, there is a video on my channel regarding this. I'll leave a link at the top. Don't want to take too many. And just go round, trim any dead leaves or any leaves that have got holes in there. If they're showing any signs of holes, then that's it, they're done. There's no point keeping them there. The plant will try and repair it, but it's not going to repair it, so what's the point of it using the energy? You may as well use it from new growth. I tend to go into the Anubias, just take off some of the older leaves. Gives more light through so more leaves can grow. Sometimes you can look like you've over trimmed your plants. Don't worry, you soon grow back, and grow back better for it. Amazon swords again, they're trimmed as near to the root as you can. Get rid of those. Get rid of those dead leaves. Make room for new leaves to grow through. This doesn't need much today because I only did it last week. Now this I did put in here. I'm not very happy with it though, so this can come out today. If you do dispose of any of your tropical plants, guys, just make sure you do it responsibly. Don't want those finding their ways into our waterways in the UK or from wherever you live. can destroy habitats. Once all the plants are trimmed, just take all those trimmed leaves out. Say, just check for eggs, snails, anything like that. You don't want to throw anything away that's not supposed to be thrown away. You just take out all your trimmed plants. Once they're out, we'll see how we go. So this plant here is the Brazilian pennywort. It does look great in your aquarium. It forms like a lily pad on the surface when it grows, but it grows rapid, so you just have to keep it back, because if you're not careful, once it hits the surface, it can stop the flow of water or slow the flow of water down a little bit. So just make sure you always keep that trimmed. If you don't be careful, like I say, it will take over your aquarium. So I actually use it as a floating plant in the tank where I have my angelfish. As you know, if you have angelfish tend to eat your floating plants quite often, but they do leave the Brazilian pennywort alone, so advisable to put in your tank if you have angelfish. Once all my plants are trimmed, take them all out, glass is cleaned. Today this tank doesn't really need any more. Once a month I do the filter. Filter does not need doing today. I normally do it the first weekend of the month, so that doesn't need doing today. I then do water change. Now water changes are a bit of a contentious issue on the internet. Some people do 10% every 2 weeks, some people do 20% every 2 weeks. I do 20% once a week. I try to get that done on a Wednesday, but I'm not like, well, it needs doing today 7 days. If it needs doing another day, then it gets done another day. But I do 20% because the plants in this aquarium get fertilized every single day. So once a week I do like to drop the water, 20%, fresh water in. The plants love it, the fish love it. So there we go. I'm not saying you should do 20% a week. What I'm saying is what suits you and suits your tank best is best for you regarding water changes. Some people don't do any water changes. I couldn't do that. I do enjoy doing water changes, and like I say, the plants benefit from it and the fish love it. So when I do my water change, I get a regular standard hose pipe. I put a strainer on the end, a filter strainer on the end, so no small fish can get in there. I then place that into the aquarium. The other end is attached to a tap. I will then inject tap water into the aquarium until all the bubbles stop, and then I will stop the tap, disconnect it from the tap. That will then form a siphon, and we will take out 20% of the water. So the red plant that I've just taken out, just trimmed off the stalky bit at the bottom because it had lost its leaves. I'm just going to replant that now back in. Just add a nice bit of colour into that corner, and we'll fill up with water. When I'm putting water back into the tank, the first thing I do is add API tap water conditioner. This is a dechlorinator, so it will take any toxins out of your water before or as it's entering your tank. This is not a sponsored video, this is just the products that I use and products that work best for me. API tap water conditioner is really good. I also use Neutro Plus plant fertilizer. There is Neutro Plus is actually for CO2 injected aquariums, but I just find it works best because mine's so heavily planted. This works better for me. I also add a buffer for my KH and GH, just helps keep the water parameters fine. One thing I will add when you're doing your water changes is do not get distracted, especially when you're putting water back in. I safeguard myself taking water out because my hose pipe is wrapped around a pipe U-bend that you'd use on a washing machine, so I can set just how much water I take out of the tank. Putting it back in though, if you're doing it by a hose pipe, is a totally different matter, isn't it? If you get distracted, then you risk flooding. So just make sure you don't get distracted, stay near your aquarium. I tend to take out the floating plants or leaves that I've trimmed while it's filling up, just so I'm not leaving the aquarium so I don't get flooded. I do hope you've enjoyed today's video, or enjoying today's video I should say. If you are, just please press the like button and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing to the channel just helps me get more content out to you guys, so if you could, that'd be great, thank you. Once everything's done, all your plants are trimmed, it's time to replace the floating plants. You don't have to put them all back in, you can transfer them to another tank, take them to a store. I will be putting all these back in today. Also, floating plants are a great way of taking out any nitrates. And also help with algae, because they're going to keep the light off, and obviously because they're taking the nitrates. Within an hour they will be all root down and the tank will be looking great again. And that is my weekly routine on my planted aquarium regarding trimming, cleaning and water changes. I do not gravel vac because it's a planted aquarium. Plants will use fish waste as food, so there's no point taking that out. I think I've covered everything I do apart from filter cleans. Like I say, I do the filters once a month, doesn't need doing today. Hope you've enjoyed the video and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.